You are watching DHTV from California State University, Dominguez Hills.
Welcome back to Design Your Life. This week I wanted to spend a bit more time with informational interviews. What you're doing with informational interviews is interviewing someone who's living your dream career life. Getting information from them about how they got started, what they really love, maybe some things they discovered in this career life that surprised them, that disappointed them, how they would recommend you get started. You're going to show them your resume, get feedback on are you qualified, what else do you need to do to be one of the top candidates for a good job. You know, what's the salary range? If you feel comfortable, you can ask them anything. And I'm asking you to do at least 3 of these during this course. Now, the Career Center can help you connect with potential informational interviews. I think they also have interviewing workshops, just like their resume workshops. And I want you to take advantage of all of this. Before you do an informational interview, you need to identify who you want to interview. And I, once again, have connections. I'm willing to introduce you to people. You need to come up with your questions. Now, I would say most informational interviews, if these are busy people, you probably don't want to take more than a half hour, maybe 20 minutes. You don't want to be a pest. You just want to get some valuable information. Build your network, impress them a little bit with you and your interests. Who knows, maybe they'll know of a job opportunity. Stay in touch. And then, of course, you want to thank them and appreciate them for their time and for how they helped you. So sending them, getting a card, sending them a letter of thank you, appreciation, maybe enclosing your business card. I recommend, actually, if you don't have cards, this is the time to get cards. It's a great thing to have when you're doing elevator pitches, when you're going to the Career Center events. You want to, have some attractive, simple image, and then your name, your email, your phone number, ways to get in touch, maybe a career goal if you want to put a job or a career goal on there. So include that so they can stay in touch with you. Reach out to you if they learn of a job opportunity. These are some of the things that will happen with informational interviews. Okay, let me turn to my PowerPoint just to review some of my tips. These are people living your dreams. Now, they might actually be your professors. That's fine. It's amazing. Once you start to think in terms of a career life network, how many people you already know in your current network who know people who might be living your dream life, your dream career. For example, your friends' parents, getting to know each other and asking, who do you know? What are they doing? Do you know any doctors? Do you know anyone with a health career? Do you know anyone with a biology background? You're going to discover lots of possibilities. As I just said, each other. Now, some of these informational interviews might be long distance. Now, as I described them earlier, it sounds like you're meeting in person. And that is really ideal. But let's say you want to work for the National Institute of Health. I happen to know someone who worked for the National Institute of Health and the World Health Organization as an ombudsman doing conflict resolution work. And one of those people is now retired to DC. The other is in New Zealand. So these are long distance interviews. And you might be doing it via email, Skype, Zoom. That works, however it works. My nephew James is obviously in Cambridge at the moment, so that's long distance. you want to make sure you've prepared and polished your resume. So you probably want to have each of us review your resume, take it to a career coach at the Career Center, get their feedback. Definitely use spell check. Go to the tutoring or the writing center to correct all punctuation and spelling errors. Because you know, a lot of people struggle with writing, especially if English is not their first language. And you know, younger generations are reading less and writing less, but you can really ruin that first impression with a spelling error or a bad punctuation. You want to have it close to perfect for informational interviews. Yeah, just at least show your resumes to someone who can read it and go, this looks good. And then when you're doing the informational interview, one of your questions needs to be, am I qualified to get hired in this career? And don't, you know, get depressed or upset if they say no, not yet. You want to ask them, what do you recommend I do to become qualified? And you might even want to ask them, as I said, what do you recommend I do to become one of the most qualified candidates for this job? Yeah, I had mentioned this question earlier. You know, the demand for new health science majors might be the greatest out east. There might be a real glut in biology majors in California. I'm not saying that's true, I really don't know, but you want to ask people who are industry experts, where are people with new bachelors getting hired in the jobs that I hope to be hired to do? Now, I say here 60 minutes, you know, if somebody indicates that they have an hour to spend with you, please take advantage of it. You need to sort of feel that out. You don't want to monopolize their time or upset them, you know, turn them off in any way. But if you have more time, take advantage of it. Find out what they most enjoy, what they dislike. Others they would recommend you talk with. That needs to be a question you always ask, because you build your network by asking people in that network who they recommend you talk with. And if you have a friendly, positive rapport with the person you're interviewing, ask, would you be willing to introduce me, to open the door? That's a great way for getting another interview. Now, I told you I really believe in internships, but volunteering and service learning, those are all ways to build your network, and they're great ways to meet people who would be willing to sit down with you and help you review your resume, tell you about job openings, all of it. So when you're imagining your futures, you might take 5 minutes to ask, how can I, you know, dip my toes in and get a sense of this career, get a sense of this life by volunteering or doing an internship. Just like most weeks, what I have to say is really just to support and encourage you in doing field work. I'm available to be one of your informational interviews. If you want to use me as the first one, that's fine. I'll help you for the second and the third. Have a great week.